Do we have any public comment?
No, sir, we do not.
All right. Anybody in the public that wishes to address the committee? How's that? Better? Well, you guys can hear me. All right. With that said, then we'll jump into items for discussion. Number one, presentation, discussion, and possible recommendation of BPUB's financial performance report for the period ending March 31st. Monica?
Good afternoon, Monica Cavazos, Director of Finance. We will be looking at the year-to-date numbers on the far right column. And you see that we have total operating revenues year-to-date as of March 31st of $109,609,743, less operating expenses of $92,177,186, leaves us operating income of $17,432,557. We then back out our non-operating expenses of $9,236,566, which leaves us income before capital contributions of $8,195,991. We then add our capital contributions of $3,178,095, gives us a change in net position of $11,374,086. When added to the net position at the beginning of the year of $445,310,943, gives us a net position at the end of the period of $456,685,029. We then move on to the flow of funds, and you see on line 20 that we generated sufficient revenue to cover our transfers out. So we have $12,853,390 available for transfers out, which covered our operating sub-account fuel adjustment of $2,136,244. The improvement fund CIP funding of $4,454,207, and improvement fund for the Resaca CIP funding from the Resaca fee of $179,893, for total transfers of $6,773,444, which leaves us an improvement fund surplus of $6,083,046. And then when you look at our statement of investments, demand accounts and investments, you'll see on line 9 in the improvement fund, we have $93,308,352. And you see the footnote that indicates that this amount includes the $29 million Tenaska equity fund.
Right. And so not on the April numbers, but I'm assuming come the May numbers or the June numbers, that'll change
Yes.
to reflect the action taken this week.
Yes.
Great.
Any other questions on the financials?
Joseph?
No, thank you.
No? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's jump to item number 2, which is the capital improvements. Let me read the item correctly.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is George Rangel. I'm the finance manager. I will go ahead and be presenting the approved fiscal year 2023 5-year capital improvement plan summary by utility. I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on columns E, F, and H. And so we're going to start off with the electric utility. For fiscal year 23, they had an approved plan of $32,098,381. Year-to-date actuals as of March 31st, 2023 are $5,889,079, giving them a completion percentage of 18.3%. For the general administration, they had an approved plan of $7,541,228. Year-to-date actuals as of March 31st is $506,867, giving them a completion ratio of 6.7%. For the water utility, they had an approved plan of for fiscal year 23 of $23,148,020. Year-to-date actuals of $1,505,838 for a completion percentage of 6.5%. Going on to the next page, for the wastewater utility, for fiscal year 23, they had an approved plan of $24,329,567. The year-to-date actuals as of March 31st is $2,280,926, giving them a completion percentage of 9.4%. For the facilities for fiscal year 23, the approved plan was $5,016,799. Year-to-date actuals of $296,430, giving them a completion percentage of 5.9%. I do want to say that for the facilities, if you look under column D, that 4.7 million, that is the admin building project. And so there hasn't been any movement on that because we are waiting on the facilities committee to give us some sort of direction on when we're going to start that project. And so that's why, the majority of the spending hasn't happened yet. So for the grand total, 92,133,995, year-to-date expenditures of 10,479,140, for a total of 11.4 completion percentage.
George, the first thing that comes to mind, and we've had this conversation in the past, is, this is reflecting the first 2 quarters of the year. So we're 50% into the year, and the grand total, the percentage is 11. So obviously 11 is less than 50. Is there anything, we've had these conversations before, but is there anything that we as a committee can do to help the organization or the team to get closer to that 50% goal, or is it just a matter of delays or?
I want to say it's probably like a combination of both. Like I mentioned before, the facilities committee making a decision on the admin building, that would definitely help. I do also want to say that in addition to the 10 million that we have already in year-to-date expenditures, we also have an additional 8.8 million in encumbrances. And so there's already been commitments to get that. We just haven't had those expenditures hit our books yet.
Okay.
But there definitely is already a commitment to get those projects going.
So that gets us to roughly 20%?
Yeah.
More or less, yes. Yeah, it's an additional 9.6, so that'll.
21%.
Yeah.
21%.
Correct.
Okay.
We knock out the admin building, and that gets us to roughly what, 25% or so?
Yeah.
So we're still halfway to where we should be.
Yeah.
If it is a supply chain issue, should we, yes.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
If you're getting, like, I just double checked with Angela and Monica, this reflects invoices that have come in.
Okay.
And for example, on the water and wastewater side, we have numerous projects where we have a contractor. We have, for example, 2 or 3 lift station projects where actually the contractor, Ferguson, we've come before the board for approval. You may not see a lot of invoicing. In some instances, we did a partial stoppage of time because we're waiting for the deliverables of materials and pumps for the projects. For example, we have 2 other water and a wastewater. One of them is the Rotary Park. We came before the board for approval. We have done stoppage of time because we are entering the peak water usage, and we are asking the contractor to not start the project. One of them is the raw water line, for example, that feeds water plant 2, where we're stopping time during these peak months, and he'll resume work in late August or September. So you will not see, I think a lot of our percentages will go completely up. We have them contracted out, but invoicing has not been substantial on a lot of those projects.
I just want to make sure that as a committee and then also as a board, we do whatever we can to ensure that staff has the support necessary to execute its plan and make sure that the system is at 100%, right? And so if we're halfway through the year and we see 11 where it should be 50, maybe the number isn't 50, maybe it's 30 or 40. But I just want to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to give you guys that support.
Maybe
So-
we can do a column that shows, right,
Still at 21.
Yeah.
correct,
No, and again, it's not,
okay.
it's not so much the percentage, it's just I just want to make sure that there isn't something that we can do, right? And so if there's something comes up and as either as a finance committee or as the full board, there's something that we can do to help, hit that number and to help you guys ensure that the system is at 100%, and just make sure to let us know.
Right.
I think.
I mean, no, the board is doing with everything that you have to help us when we come before the board for approval of projects.
Okay.
Yes, on the facility side is really only the admin that we have that budgeted amount. And I think we pretty much know the route that we're taking. So then it would just be a matter of making a final decision from the facilities and the board, and then that money would be reallocated elsewhere.
Okay.
So, yeah, these are all critical projects, right? And I know there is a list of critical projects, you know, where we kind of drew a line, had to draw a line somewhere. So if there are supply chain issues, can I ask that we reevaluate some of the stuff waiting in the wings? Swap it out, you know, so if something's going to take 2 years to come in, let's have a conversation about, well, we don't need all this other stuff to wait for it. So let's look at maybe rearranging the deck chairs a little bit, just so that we can accomplish as much of this, because our goal is to, I think as Patricia said, keep as much working at 100%, and not kick the can down the road. You know, so anything we can do to help with that, any questions, we'll jump in.
All right.
Sounds good.
That is something that the directors and the managers do look at throughout the year. And they themselves reprioritize projects during the year as something gets delayed or something becomes more important. So they do that shuffling within the approved plan. They are able to reallocate money, and they do that throughout.
And so if we have to change the approved plan, that is something the board can help on. So,
Yeah.
you know, please, oh my goodness, let us know. You know, we just would hate for, you know, substation number 30 to go without a pump because it's not quite the same priority as, you know, something else, but we have the supplies. So, you know, whatever it takes, we want to make sure our infrastructure stays as healthy as possible.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, George.
Thank you, guys.
Very much.
All right. So that's item number 2. And number 3 is a presentation, discussion, and possible recommendation regarding the return to normal billing practices and aging of accounts.
Members of the board, this is Mr. Joe Amaya. He's the manager of the billing collections area.
Hey, Joe.
So
Howdy,
he
Joe.
actually puts all the numbers together. As you're aware, we previously moved back to normal collection. So we're really giving you just a quick overview of what's occurring and how we're working with the customers. The customer service group has been working with customers to do payment arrangements. That's been going well. There have been a lot of payment arrangements made to try to help people break out, you know, for those customers who made no payments during the 6 months moratorium. Now that we're about a month to 2 months into it, we're starting to see the first group that most people are keeping them, but some are breaking them. So you take a quick look at our aging, you're going to see that the 30-day and the 90-day are down, which is good. The 60-day is up a little bit, which is kind of, at first it might be confusing, but that's because if you break a payment arrangement, if you don't meet the terms, then it drops in. It's dropping in there. So we're seeing a slight increase there.
I don't think these slides or this report made it into our board packet. Will it be in the full board packet? Or-
We can load them up.
Yeah, I just so that we have the
Yeah, it's just-
ability to review it.
Literally closed 2
Yeah.
days ago.
Oh,
We didn't have time to. Joe worked a miracle and got the numbers together in a day.
No, that's great. I just wanted to make sure we have it so that we can review it
It will get added.
outside of the
It
meeting.
will, yeah, we'll add it and we'll make sure that it gets added into the website.
Great.
But the main facts are that we are, customer service is working with the customers. We are starting to see some of those arrangements, a couple, you know, a few default, and that's what's driving some of the numbers up a little bit. The agencies, I think the agencies have been, we were seeing the aid increase. We are hearing some concerns from some of the people that, like the aid is slow in coming. But it's kind of, we knew that was going to happen. In talking to the agencies, when we spoke to them at the beginning of the year, back in January and February, they told us, look, we're booked for February, March, April. We're making appointments back in February for May. So if customers waited and didn't do anything, they're going to be May, June, July, because of their limitations. Remember, it's just third party. We have no input on that. So that's what's hitting, that's where some customers are hitting the wall now. If they waited and didn't do anything, they're in the queue, they have an appointment, but it's going to be another month or so before they're able to get to their appointment.
So can I ask, before we do disconnects, we have distributed this Tanesca money. There is, money going back to hopefully some of these people. Can we see, what funds are available for that particular account and see if this could prevent maybe the disconnect or allow us to push it, give our customers a little more time?
Well, if I remember from what I read in the paper this morning, if you're an active customer, that's going to be done immediately, like within the next, Mike, if I remember correctly, May the 8th. So by next Monday, it'll be applied to the account. So that'll hit immediately if you're an active customer. It's the customers that are inactive that it's going to take longer, but they don't have an account, so it won't affect them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, so we have, the next few days where people are going to be coming up for disconnects. Hopefully not many, but, just that one extra step of, hey, if anybody does come up, if not, that's
Now-
great news.
No, I'm just thinking in my head, typically we do not do residential disconnects on Friday. The logic there is that,
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you don't have the weekend and.
exactly, you don't have time to come in, you're gonna get home Friday night and no power, and oh my God, I forgot, and there's nobody here
We get
to send
Right.
out. So typically we don't do residential on Friday, so that just leaves tomorrow.
Okay. And then my other request is you guys actually have a lot of data here. And one thing I think would be important for us to understand going forward is what is the long-term effect or short to long-term effect of these payment suspensions? How much does it affect the population? Basically saying you get a free pass for 3 months. And then do we see, I know we see a spike in disconnects. Is that a permanent spike? Are these people able to come back into the system? How long does it take? Just so we can sit there and quantify the effects, because on the starting the payment suspension, or the disconnect suspension, I should say, it's seems like a great relief. But now that we're on the other side, it's just important to understand, was it indeed a relief to our ratepayers, or did we do them a disservice?
Okay. I can tell you one of the things that we do here typically from the agencies that provide aid is they beg us not to stop. They said, don't stop, because it's human nature. People will not go in. And that's exactly what we saw both cases we learned that the hard way with COVID. And then when we did this, the issue is that the people, they won't go in because there's no impetus to go in. So what happens is they don't go in, it piles up, and then they're in a jam. And we've worked very closely with KCOST. They try to get people in. Nobody comes in. It's like, look, we don't have anybody here. There's no customers coming in because there's nothing pushing on the customer. So that is something that you got to weigh.
There's case study after case study after case study that demonstrates what you're saying. I just want to add to the mound of data, just so we can sit there, understand it, if it comes up again, allow people to make informed decisions.
Yes, sir.
All right. Great.
Thank
Thanks,
you
guys.
very much for all your work here.
All right, so that does it for items 1, 2, and 3. Next up is recessed closed meeting. So at this time, 11:21 p.m., we'll go ahead and enter into closed session. All of you who are here today, thank you very much. Check with your department heads, but if you've already presented or there's nothing for you to present after closed session, I don't think the committee will have any additional questions outside of what we're discussing in closed meeting. So feel free to go on with your day if your supervisor or department head's okay with that. Thank you very much for being here, and let's go into closed.
Thank
session.
you all. Yes, yeah, or call me Joseph, but never mind that. Yeah. This is why I'm not allowed to talk to people.
Yeah.
Why are they?
She's never asked me that.
Second.
There, great. 19:49 PM, back in regular session. Final two items, discussion and possible.
12:49,
12:49, what did I say?
1949.
12:49 PM. Thank you for that correction. Discussion and possible recommendation on closed meeting items and discussion